What did you do for fun in the 70s?
Drugs.
Ready.
Am I sitting upstream?
What was the house like growing up? What did it look like? Describe your house.
Well, the one in New Jersey I have no memory of at all. And then they moved to an apartment in Yonkers, New York.
Yonkers?
Yonkers. Was it Yonkers or Washington Heights? It was a really bad neighborhood, but it was cheap. And I don't remember what the inside looked like, except there was red and white wallpaper in the kitchen that had little roosters in each square.
Super tacky.
Yeah. And then we moved to Queens, our first private home, and that's the one that I told you about, white with red shutters.
So it was a white house with red shutters?
Yes. And it had one bathroom, and it was across the street from a park, so that was nice. All the kids used to go there. And had an attic, which was the kids' bedrooms. You know, so it had those sloping ceilings, and our beds were like wedged underneath that slope. Carol and I had one side, and Robert had the other side.
Okay. So the golden son had his own side.
Of course.
Okay. Good. All right. So, and there was indoor plumbing and telephones and everything, right? You didn't have an outhouse?
I'm not that old.
Okay. Was there any kind of a special item that you remember from the house? Anything that really stuck out to you?
Well, I remember my dad always had animals there. He had rabbits in the backyard, and then the people complained because they multiplied.
Right.
And so we had rabbit stew for a long time after that. And he had beagles for a while, lots of beagles.
Why do you have so many beagles?
He used to hunt.
Oh, okay.
Took us hunting a few times. And
So have you ever killed anything?
no. All I did was spend the whole time crying because it was so cold.
Not much has changed.
Yeah. But he did kill a deer, and we all got hysterical, and he never went hunting again after that.
Oh, really?
So.
Because he felt bad for you guys?
Yeah, and he kind of felt bad for the
deer.
The deer too, yeah.
Had he ever killed a deer before in his life before that?
Well, yeah, he grew up on a farm, so he was used to it, but I guess it, he learned.
Triggered him. It's good.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he still killed rabbits. You gotta kill something. Otherwise, you'll just kill your spouse. So, what is your earliest childhood memory?
I feel like I'm in an electrocution chair here.
Stop!
My earliest childhood memory? Well, my long-term memory is pretty bad. I do remember my mother wanting to clean the floors, and she put me in the corner.
Is that how she cleaned the floors?
Yeah, and told me, don't move.
Okay. Why?
And because she didn't want me
she didn't want you to
mess
spot the floor.
mess the floors.
Okay.
I remember standing there, staring at that wallpaper to me, it seemed like a really long time. That's my earliest memory. If I close my eyes a certain way, I can still see that wallpaper.
Really?
Yes. That's
so
how long
ingrained
that
in your memory.
Yes.
The worst wallpaper ever.
Right.
What kind of games did you play growing up?
Well, I mean, we really didn't have games per se. It was mostly just being outdoors.
Right.
You know, we would go to the park. It was right across the street. They had a big, what do they call that when you hit the ball against a wall?
Wall ball, like a wall ball court.
Okay. Yeah, we played that. And
That's not what it's actually called. I don't even know.
Oh.
Brian, do you know what that's called? Handball
Handball,
court?
that's
what it
it.
is. I used to call it wall ball court because I don't know the
Handball.
name.
And, you know, they had swings and monkey bars and stuff like that. Biking.
Yeah, biking. That's it. So a lot of outdoor stuff.
Right.
Was there any kind of, so did you play any kind of games like, I don't know, was there any weird games from that time era that just don't exist anymore? That time period?
If there was, I don't remember it.
You don't remember it? All right. We're going to go on. Now we're going to get deep with you.
Oh, no.
Who was your first love?
Johnny Whitwer.
Johnny Whitwer?
I can remember that.
How old were you?
I had to have been maybe early teens.
Early teens?
Yeah. It was two brothers who lived on our block. Johnny Whitwer and Freddie Whitwer.
Johnny Whitwer and
I
Freddie.
liked Johnny Whitwer, and my friend Robin down the block liked Freddie,
Okay.
and we were in love with them.
Were they cute?
They were very cute,
Yeah.
and it was definitely unrequited love.
What a setup.
Yeah. We were like desperate. One time we did the craziest thing, Robin and I. His mom used to hang all their clothes on a clothesline in the backyard, and they used to wear surfer shirts.
Oh.
You know what a surfer
Yeah,
shirt
yeah.
is with the big stripes?
Yes.
We actually went in the backyard and each stole a surfer shirt.
It's a little psycho. And what'd you do with the shirts?
Just, you know,
Just wore them?
kept them, slept with them.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So how long did that last, as far as, how long were you together? Did you ever date, or you were just like
No,
in love
we
with him? It was like an obsession.
It was an obsession,
Okay.
but you know, we were kind of friendly. I do remember once we walked in the park together, and I actually got a kiss.
Wow, that's
And
intense.
it was very thrilling,
Yeah.
and that was
it?
it.
So you just kissed once, and that was it? Well, at least you got something out of it. And a shirt. What was your favorite thing to do for fun growing up?
Well, I think I
Just be outside?
kind of
Okay.
answered that. And read. Read was my favorite
Read?
thing.
God, you were a blast.
Yeah. We're
I'm
talking
just
about
kidding.
young.
No, I know.
Yeah. I did drugs.
Well, let's get into that.
No, let's not.
Let's talk about all the drugs you did back in the days.
No.
What did you do for fun in the 70s?
Drugs.
What kind of drugs?
Oh, come on.
This is funny. You gotta spice it up a little bit.
Quaaludes,
Quaaludes?
marijuana,
That's not really a drug.
cocaine.
Cocaine? Anything else? Acid? Did
No,
you ever hit an acid
I
tab?
did it once.
Once, and then what happened?
It freaked me out.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely don't see reality at all.
What about shrooms?
Who?
Shrooms.
I have no idea what that is.
You don't know who that is? Shrooms? Mushrooms. You ever did mushrooms?
Oh, mushrooms. No. No.
So you never did shrooms. Okay.
Shrooms. Quaaludes, Secanols, which both of those I don't think even exist anymore.
Do you have a favorite song?
A favorite song? Well, I mean, it's hard to pick a favorite, but I always like to listen to It's a Wonderful World, Louis Armstrong.
That's a good one.
I think it's very uplifting.
Yeah, that is a good one. That's a really nice song. Nice choice. Is that your favorite song? Is that you have another favorite song, or is that pretty much it?
I mean, if I had to pick one,
That was the one.
that would be it, yes.
What was your religion growing up?
Catholic.
Catholic?
Yes.
When did you fall off the bandwagon?
Officially, I fell off when I went to Italy for the summer. My mom used to send me there every summer.
Right.
And my grandmother was not religious at all.
That's weird.
She was a real tough Russian
Yeah.
lady. So when I got home, I had to go to church, I had to go to confession, and I told him that I hadn't gone to church all summer. And he screamed at me as though I killed a child.
Really?
Scared the heck out of me. Walked out of there in tears. He gave me like 5,000.
This was your father?
What?
Who? Your father screamed at you?
No, the priest.
Oh, the priest
Yeah,
screamed at you.
in
Okay.
the confessional.
In the confessional. Okay.
Yeah. So I just,
What?
that was it.
So
Yeah,
that was it. He
horrible.
terrorized you, and you never went back
Yeah.
again.
I mean, I got terrorized anyway. I went to Catholic school when
Right.
we were in New York. And, you know, it was the thing with the nuns and
And the beating.
slamming your knuckles and everything.
So
and telling you you're going to burn in hell. And
did you get beaten a lot
by who?
by the nuns?
No. I was very, very quiet
Yeah.
and very good.
I don't believe that, but okay. What world events had an impact on you while growing up, if you could remember anything? Something that really kind of shifted you, or I mean, you've seen some shit, so what was
Yeah.
the first main world event you went through that kind of impacted you as a I don't know, as an individual?
Probably, I remember when John F. Kennedy was running for president, that everyone was so like hopeful and excited,
Right.
because he was such a, you know, sincere and gave hope for the future. I remember that. And I was pretty young. I mean, I
Right.
couldn't vote yet, but I do remember that. Of course, I remember when he was shot. That was horrible.
Were you
Yeah,
at school
but-
when he
but-
was assassinated?
Yeah.
Yeah. What happened? Did you even really were you attached to that person? Like, did you have any attachment to him, or was it just like, oh crap,
Well,
that sucks?
Oh, no,
Like,
everybody did. It was horrible.
yeah.
The whole, you know, nation was mourning. I remember in college we were all protesting, because after that it was Nixon. We
Yeah.
were protesting the war and
Right.
everything, and I remember kids at Kent State being shot
Yeah.
for protesting.
Wow.
So that was horrible.
That's terrible.
Yeah, that kind of, I think that's what messed up the boomer generation.
You think that's what it was?
Yes.
Really?
Well, that was horrific. We were trying to do something, and then we were actually
Got shut
killed
down.
by our own government.
Right. It's a mess.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy how much it changed. But in a way, you kind of set the benchmark for protesters back then, because now people feel way. There's a lot more freedom to do it now than there ever was.
Hopefully, yeah.
So there was something to gain from that. It wasn't just loss
Yeah.
and tragedy.
Yeah, that was a big deal what
Yeah.
we were doing back then.
Yeah, it was. It was. Did you have a sign?
No, we what we did was take over the administration building.
You took over the administration building?
Yeah.
How'd you do that?
We wouldn't let anyone in.
You just locked the doors?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And they had no police on the premises where they could like arrest you or anything?
No, they didn't do that there, thank God. But yeah, that's
pretty badass. So you locked the administration building, you wouldn't let anyone in? How long did you guys keep it?
So they kind of shut down because they couldn't run the
they couldn't run the facility.
College.
So how long did you keep it like that for?
I really don't remember.
That was when the Quaaludes kicked in.
No. They kind of scared us out of it.
Yeah.
Like all around that time, Kent State happened, the kids got killed. So it kind of faded away.
They probably did it on purpose.
Oh, yeah. And then I remember I was part of the SDS, Student Democratic Society, and the FBI started investigating them, arresting them, labeling them as terrorists.
Wow.
So it all kind of, everybody kind of tried to fade away into the background.
Yeah.
So we all got scared.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy stuff. Did any of those world events or anything, obviously affected you? Did it have any effect on your family, the economy at the time? Anything like where, your family was kind of in hardship because of it?
No, one thing I do remember, though, is the Cold War was also going on at the same time.
Okay.
Like with Russia and everything. And we had wanted to go to Russia so that we could see, my dad could see his family because he hadn't seen them in like 20 years since he had moved at that time. So we applied for, I guess it was I don't remember. I think it was a visa that we had to do because it was a big deal to go to Russia back then. And the FBI came to the house.
They did?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And
what'd they do?
They questioned my father. Why does he want to go there? They thought he was a communist. That was another big thing. You couldn't be a communist. And scared him.
Scared him out of it.
And we never went.
That's so sad.
So he never went. He never got to see his mom or his sisters.
Ever again?
Right.
Jeez. That sucks.
Yeah. So, a lot of crazy stuff around then.
Do you have any regrets? Any lifetime regrets if you could think back? Like, what the hell? Why did I do that?
I've done some really stupid things, and I've had a lot of stupid, terrible things done to me. But, I think it's all a life lesson. It sounds really cliche, but made me who I am.
Wow, that's so nice. That's so nice.
I wouldn't be this tough broad if it wasn't
I know. You have to go through some shit to get there.
Yeah.
So growing up, who was the person that you most adored or respected?
Can't think of anybody.
No one? Your parents? No one?
Well, maybe my dad. He tried his best given the circumstances, a single dad. But,
So you didn't really have anyone that you kind of looked up to as a kid?
Not that I remember.
I know your situation was a little difficult, but
yeah,
there wasn't anyone that you, like a neighbor, a teacher, anyone in that time period that kind of inspired you?
Well, there is a teacher that I remember.
Okay.
Miss West.
Yeah.
And this is why I remember her. I remember we had, for Christmas, she organized a little grab bag. And everybody had to bring something in wrapped. And my mom bought a box of 64 Crayola crayons, like every color imaginable, which I didn't have. I thought it was the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
And she knew that I really wanted something like that. So she wrapped it up, and we both misunderstood, thought that we got the
crayons,
present.
right.
And when I went to get something, it was something different. I don't remember what it was, and I started crying in the classroom. I also remember one other thing. I used to complain that I never got the biggest box at Christmas. Everyone else got a bigger box than me. And I do remember that one Christmas I got a huge, huge box.
Really?
For Christmas. And it was from my aunt.
Oh.
And I opened it, and it was just like one of those crazy stories you hear all the time. There was a box inside the box, and then a box inside the box, and kept going till there was a box like this big, and there was a watch in there.
There was a watch.
Which was huge.
Right. Yeah, that's a pretty big gift.
That was a huge thing.
And
it was to teach me a lesson. And I learned it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Do you still have the watch?
No.
Oh. That would have been cool if you still had it.
Yeah.
But you get rid of everything, so a lot of stuff.
I'm not a
pack rat.
Not a pack rat. Not a collector.
Huh.
I like no chaos.
No chaos.
That's where that comes from.
Huh.
Growing up in chaos.
So was your house cluttered growing up?
Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah. It was really bad.
But that was part of that generation too, because they lived through the Depression and everything, so no one threw anything away.
Right.
There was stuff everywhere.
Right.
So the house was cluttered and the situation was chaotic too.
Right. You kind of grew up with your dad, so what was his philosophy growing up? Like, was he a little, was it always the woman's fault? Like, how was he?
No, he was very liberal as far as that went. He believed a woman could do anything. He wasn't conservative at all. He wasn't very strict with us.
Right.
We basically raised ourselves.
Yeah.
Kind of feral.
Yeah, feral children.
Yeah.
That explains a lot. So he was, which is kind of rare to have a dad like that in that time period.
Yeah.
Especially being a foreigner,
right.
An immigrant coming from another country. They usually have these age-old.
He was very ahead of his time.
Yeah.
As far as that goes.
Were his parents like that as well?
I'm not exactly sure. From the few stories that he told us, his dad was, really strict. Disciplinarian. He got, smacked around a lot. But I don't think he grew up that much with him because he had land.
Right.
The communists took over. They took over his land. They took his father away.
Wow.
He never saw him again.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's all kinds of really
How old
weird.
was he when they took his father away?
I'm not really sure.
Did they kill him? Probably.
Probably. Because they took all the land and just divided it with everyone.
But his mother was still alive.
She was.
She was fine. So she raised them, I guess. She went on to raise them.
Right.
What are some of your greatest achievements, Lydia?
Oh, gosh. My marriage, my children.
Your kids. Okay.
Going back to school at 47.
Yeah.
Surviving my childhood. surviving an abusive boyfriend.
That's it? Anything else?
Surviving cancer.
Surviving life.
Surviving life. Yes. That's
Life
an achievement.
Life is shitty. You just got to make the best of it.
Right.
So, all right. Did you ever want to have a boy, or are you happy just having 2 girls?
I did want to have a boy. I mean, I'm happy with my daughters, of course, but
Right.
I really always had in my mind to, have a boy that was less this stereotype male.
Right. Right.
You
More
know.
like a feminist.
Right.
Instead of a douchebag.
I would have
right.
liked to have had a son
Right.
for that reason.
To inspire them.
Right.
How come you only had 2 kids? You didn't want to go for 3?
No.
No?
No.
2 was enough?
Yeah.
You didn't want to do
we
3 like Carol?
Him after Sierra.
Yeah? Too much. It's too much work. I know Sierra's a handful. Which one was your craziest kid?
Oh, gosh.
Are they both pretty nuts?
They were both pretty crazy at different
Stages.
times. Like Sierra, when she was young, was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And Chelsea, as a teenager, drove us crazy.
Yeah.
So at different stages, they had their moments.
They had their moments.
Yeah.
What was the worst part of having them as kids? Like, what age? Obviously, teenage years were probably a disaster. Did you, if you could go back and redo something back then, what would you do?
Absolutely nothing.
You'd leave it the way it is.
Yes.
The psychosis and everything.
Yes.
The damage.
They turned out fine. They turned out wonderful.
That's good. Which ancestor would you want to meet? Is there anyone that really stuck out to you?
Maybe some of my ancestors from Russia,
Yeah.
just to know about their lifestyle.
Like,
Because even now, how they're living.
right.
Because they're still there. I have cousins.
Yeah. Would it be weird if you went and visit them now? If you went to visit them now?
I don't know.
Yeah. You don't know? Never thought about going to visit?
I've thought about it,
Yeah.
but
Too many years passed.
right. And right now I have
Yeah.
other things on my mind.
No, yeah, for sure. I was just saying, in the past, did you ever think
Yeah.
about going?
Yeah.
What age were you when you learned how to drive?
Well, it was 16 or 18. I don't remember in New York when you can get your learner's permit.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'd have to look that up.
But whatever was the first moment you could, that's when I
you
learned.
jumped on it.
Yeah.
Did you teach yourself, or did someone teach you how to drive?
No, my dad taught me, and taught me stick shift.
Okay. What kind of car was it?
A Corvair.
Corvair?
Yes. Corvair that had an engine in the back.
In the back, right.
So you would drive it and the fumes would come through.
Yeah, that's
car.
nice. So you really smelled really good when you got to your
It
destination.
was a terrible car.
What was your favorite age and why?
I absolutely do not have a favorite age.
You don't have a favorite time of your life?
Every age
Was something
that I
good?
make it
That's good.
is a good one.
Okay. Fair
and
enough.
I really believe that.
That's good. That's a good belief to have.
I like any romantic comedy actor. Like I like.
I'm gonna guess Richard
excuse
Gere.
me. Yeah, Richard Gere from Pretty Woman. I love anything with Hugh Grant in it.
Oh, he's such a dick.
Oh, I love him.
You like him?
Oh.
I hate his face.
Oh, I love his face.
I just want to punch him in the face.
Oh my God. No. We won't have that. Ryan Gosling.
Okay.
That kind of.
Yeah, like You're the cutesy tootsy guys.
Yeah.
That says a lot. So, you like, what's your favorite season, Lyd? I know in Florida we only have one.
Yeah.
But
Well, probably in Florida it would be winter.
you like winter in Florida.
Well,
I guess
is
because it's
winter
not
in
that cold. But
Florida?
you always complain
70?
about the cold, and it gets cold. But you like the cold.
No. I like it a little cooler.
A little cooler.
Yeah.
I thought you would like the summer.
I mean, I like the heat.
In the house, just not outside.
No, outside too.
You like it a cool
problem-
85 in the house.
And a cool 85 outside. I just don't like the sun. That's the problem.
Okay. But you used to spend time in the sun when you grew up.
Oh,
just
yeah.
afterwards, when you
Yeah.
found out how
Right.
horrible the sun is for
Right.
you.
I
Yeah.
get a couple of skin cancers and it changes your
Yeah.
attitude right away.
We'll see when I get there. Were you happy with your career choice?
Well, I had a few.
What was your
But-
first, what did you originally want to do growing up?
Well, when I was going to college, I was going to be a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And I even did the Head Start program during every summer,
Mm-hmm.
Teaching like underprivileged kids.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. And when I was in college, up on the hill was a nursing building.
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought about being a nurse. I used to see the nursing students, and I used to think to myself, maybe I want to do that. And then I was actually walking up that hill one day,
Mm-hmm.
and this tall, blonde, hippie guy
Mm-hmm.
stood right in front of me
Mm-hmm.
and blocked my path.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the infamous Mark Silverstein.
So
So
that was it.
that was it.
He took you.
He took me, and all my plans went to shit.
How old were you?
20?
20? So at 20 years old, so you met this guy and you were like head over heels with this
Head
asshole.
over heels.
Wow.
I thought he was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen,
Really?
and he liked me.
Uh-oh. So he
And
just stood in front of
and
you?
he was a big man on campus and
Oh,
everything.
really?
Yeah.
Oh.
He started talking to me, but I was trying to go, and
Mm-hmm.
he blocked my path.
So you met this guy. How long were you guys together?
7 years.
7 years? 7 years? I thought you guys were together for like a year or something.
7 years.
So for 7 years of your life. So were you going to marry him?
I don't know what was going to happen.
So you were 20, so you were like 27 years old when you were still with him.
Yeah.
So for 7 years, and then eventually, was it tumultuous the entire 7 years?
The beginning was, really nice. He was very romantic and,
Mm-hmm. Sweet.
gave me presents all the time, and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got nutty.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of it was drugs, but
Mm-hmm.
he had to have had that in
his
him
heart.
for him to do that to another
Right.
human.
Did he have any history of abuse or anything like that in his family?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
Did you ever meet his family?
No.
So you just only
I know he couldn't stand his mother. So
that
yeah,
tells you something right there. That's a
was
trigger.
weird stuff going on. Yeah.
So that's crazy. So for 27 years, for 7 years you locked up your life with this guy, and then and then when was enough enough? When did you take a stand? When did you finally were like, I can't with this anymore?
Well, enough was enough when oh God, I mean, it's a horrible story.
Mhm.
He was beating me up, and I was trying to get away. He had or we had, I guess, a 2-story townhouse,
Mhm.
kind of like what you had.
Right.
And so I was trying to get away. I was running down the stairs, and he had one of those locks on the doors where you needed the key from the inside and the outside. So I was locked in. I couldn't get out. So I turned around. I started running up the stairs, and he was grabbing me by my feet, and I kicked out behind me with my boots and hit him in the head, and he kind of like passed out.
Oh my God.
For a little bit. So I called the police. The police came. They actually had to break down the door because I couldn't open the door. But because he had an injury, and I was bleeding from the head,
Jesus.
all over myself. And at that time, there was, the cops were not educated on this stuff. The first thing they said to me when they came in is, go clean yourself up.
Oh my God.
That's what they said. And then because he had an injury also, they arrested me.
Really?
Yes. They arrested me, they arrested him.
And you spent the night in jail?
I spent the night in jail with every prostitute in Queens, New York.
Did you make any friends?
And well, they were like, what the heck are you doing in here?
Like a straight-edged white girl.
And
where was this at? Where were you living at the time?
He was in Bayside,
In
Queens.
Bayside, Queens.
Yeah.
And you?
Well, I was living.
You were living with him. Okay.
So, then my dad picked me up the next day and, practically cried seeing me.
Yeah.
And that was it.
That was the last time you saw him.
Yeah. He used to come to the house to try and get me back. My dad went after him with a gun.
Oh my God.
And said, don't ever come back here again. And that was pretty much
that was it.
The end of it. So then, and I had no job and no place to stay. I had to start all over again. And that's when I got the job at Arthur Fromer and met Vincent.
And that's when you fell in love. No, maybe not so much.
No.
You were like, oh God.
We were friends for a long time. We all thought, he's going to hate this, we all thought Vincent was gay. Because, he
is a very feminine man.
He's very feminine, which to me is a good thing.
No, it's a good thing. It's good. He's very in touch with his feminine side.
Right.
Like, he's probably the cleanest, most feminine man I've ever met.
Right. But anyway, we were friends for a very long time. And then it just, I actually remember the moment that it changed. We all as a group went to the beach. And we had a really great time. And I was living in Manhattan at the time. And he was driving everybody home. And there was one friend that was the next, no, I was the next stop. And then this other girl would have been last. And he was going to drop me off, and I said, why don't you drop her off first?
Oh, Lydia, putting the moves on Vincent.
And that was it.
And that was it. And then you had the baby in the same car. Is that how the story went? No, I'm just kidding. No. So you were literally
was made in Chelsea, in my apartment.
In Chelsea. So you literally wanted nothing to do with him, and then one day it just clicked?
Yes.
But he was always crushing on you, right?
Yes.
Yeah. He was always obsessed.
Always.
Yeah.
I remember.
You were like, get away from me.
I remember we went.
I remember you told me you separated the bed.
Yeah, we went to London as a group one time, and it's England. The rooms are very small.
Right.
The hotel rooms, so we all had to divide up into the rooms in twos, and I wound up with Vincent on a single bed, and it's like, he's trying to
Yeah, he's trying to schmooze you. Did he have the
And
Jerry curl back then? Did he got the really curly hair back then? The little afro thing he had going
Yeah.
on?
Yeah. I think he had a mustache. I can't
Oh,
remember.
wow.
Yeah. Black mustache.
Oh, God.
But I made a big roll of sheets and stuff. And I said, get away from me, stop it.
And then all these years later, it's like the same thing.
No.
She's like, get away from me.
No.
So, that's funny. The story of Lyd and Vin.
Yeah.
Who would you want to be with if you were stranded on a deserted island?
Myself.
Tough shit. No, I have one more thing.
Do it.
No, a couple more things. So, what's the best advice you can pass on to your family?
Best advice?
Mm-hmm.
Just, I don't know. Dance like nobody's watching.
Yeah, I like that.
Don't worry about anything.
Don't worry about anything.
Yeah. I mean, when you look back on stuff, it's all water under the bridge. You can get through anything.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite memory? Nothing? Okay.
I think I'm done.
All right. Do you have anything you want to pass on to your children? Anything you want them to know about you?
Not about me, but I do want to tell them how I'm very proud of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they turned out wonderful,
Mm-hmm.
beautiful, smart, independent, strong. Couldn't ask for anything better. And kind
And kind.
and thoughtful.
Yeah. That's nice. All right.
And I also want to thank Ariana and Brian for thinking of
Cry
this and their thoughtfulness. I really appreciate it, even though this was very awkward for me. But thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Now I'm crying. Okay.
Oh,
All right, we're
God.
done.